This experience was completely different from my experience with observations in the past, because this, of course, is a new one. So I really enjoyed the hands-on approach that I had. I enjoyed the conversation that I had with my administrator throughout the whole process.
As an educator, you were able to pick a domain and focus on your teaching ability. You can focus on an ability that you might be weak in, so you can help increase student achievement. By doing that, you can help yourself as well as the students inside and outside your classroom.
Through each step, we had staff development that was provided for us, so we didn't feel like that it was just thrust upon us. We would meet with the administrators, and I think that was also very helpful. I thought the process was fair in that under the new system, I feel as a teacher that I had more input in the actual evaluation process than the system that we had previously.
I enjoyed the most about my VSET experience, the team approach with the instructor and the administrator, going through it together as a team, finding common areas. Some you agreed upon, some you may not have agreed upon, but it was all to the end of giving the students a better experience in the classroom and to the end of their learning.
The thing that I liked most about the VSET process was that it created a situation in which it was much more collaborative process between teachers and administrators. In the past systems that we've used, it seemed like it was the administrator just telling the teacher, this is what your evaluation is, and quite often the teachers felt like it was an opinion. And the VSET process makes it a much more collaborative effort between the teacher and the administrator.
Biggest challenge would probably be the process, making sure that you had everything in place when it should be there for yourself and the administrator in terms of post-op, pre-op, just being, having everything together, organization.
I think as a person myself, I sometimes am resistant to change. And I've been teaching now, this is my 19th year, so I kind of had to fight through that. But once I got through that process, it became much easier. And I think another challenge would be that since it's new, as a teacher, you want to make sure that you're doing the right thing in the classroom. So I think the way the process is set up with the matrix that is being used, I think that was very helpful for me to get over that challenge.
It took a couple of weeks for me to get into the groove and to finally be consistent and just keep that domain in the back of my head. Whenever I was teaching and planning, I needed to make sure that my students were understanding what I was saying and that I was understanding what they were coming from and what they were saying.
The biggest challenge of the new system was just the fact that it was a change. It was a change in that a different mindset. Under the old system, quite honestly, most of the teachers and administrators were rated as high performing or outstanding, and there wasn't room for a whole lot of growth. Under the new system, it's a change in that your best teachers and your best administrators are not going to be in the distinguished level. That's what they like to say is a place that we visit, we don't live there. And so that can be tough because if you're an excellent administrator, you're an excellent teacher, you're used to being rated at the very top level. In the VSET process, it's really hard to get there, but that's okay. That's where we strive to get. So if you're rated as proficient, which is the level right below that, that means you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing and you're doing it well. Sometimes that's still hard for a teacher or an administrator to look at that and say, but I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do and I'm not at the top. But that's just the way the framework is built.
I learned about myself. There are areas of improvement. There are areas that I could have improved in. Working with my colleagues, I saw where they had areas that they were better in than myself, and some areas maybe I was better in than they, but we learned from each other, and I'm speaking to evidence now. I worked with a group of teachers, and they had a specific attention to detail that maybe I didn't have as an elective teacher. They were math teachers. So this gave me something to reach for in terms of my own attention to detail.
I saw the importance of that pre-planning ahead of time and realizing, you know what, it takes a lot of work in order to do that, especially when you want a meaningful lesson and you want to sort of like boost it up to that higher level thinking. And actually that was my my goal. That was my little pinpoint that I wanted to work on. Introducing, or I should say, using more higher level discussion questions. And so that took a lot of work because you just can't come off these questions off the cuff and say, okay, yeah, well, this is what I'm going to ask. It really does take preparation prior to the lesson actually starting.
One of the things that I learned was that I adjusted to change better than I would have expected. And I think one thing that's very important that I think that the Phase 2 teacher should understand, that you're going to realize that you have already been doing these things in the classroom. It's nothing new, and I think the process is more organized and more structured, and I think that will help you become a better teacher.
Be confident in your abilities as a teacher. And if there are some things that come out that you need to improve upon, be willing to accept those things and improve upon them. Speak with colleagues, speak with administration, because it is to the end of the students learning better, having a very good experience in your classroom, and them just learning, being comfortable with you as a teacher and you growing as a teacher.
This process allows you to think about what type of teacher you are, what areas you need to work on, and actually work on them. And you can choose just one, because I know as a teacher we have our plates full with everything and we're trying to get in all of this information and just go this deep with it. But with this process you're able to pinpoint one thing, if you prefer, and go very deep with it. And you're able to actually see the process as it goes along.
Now that the Phase 1 schools have been through an entire year, I can look back now and say, you know, it was much better than I thought it would be. I feel like that I have had a proper evaluation as a teacher, and I think that by the end of next year, the Phase 2 teachers, for the most part, will enjoy the new evaluation system.
My suggestion to everyone coming in would be to go in with an open mind, to do your research and look into it, make sure that you're familiar with it, and then go forward with the understanding that This is really going to be a collaborative effort, and you're going to have some really nice discussions with the teachers and fellow administrators about the process of teaching and what can we do to make it better.